Have you ever noticed that the most painful endings are often the ones that make no sound? There is a strange kind of heartbreak in losing someone without a fight, without an argument, and without a final goodbye. Most people do not realize that the heaviest weight we carry is not a burden someone placed upon us, but a rope we refuse to drop. If you have ever felt emotionally exhausted from holding on to a friendship that is quietly slipping through your fingers, feeling ignored or left behind, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see this silent pain forever. We are taught how to handle conflict. We know how to react to anger, to a harsh word, or to a broken promise. When a door slams, it is loud, but it is clear. But how do you grieve a connection that simply fades? You begin to notice the spaces between messages growing longer, the conversations becoming shallow, the hesitation before you reach out, wondering if you are disturbing them, wondering if the care you offer is still welcome. Slowly, a quiet realization settles in your chest. You realize that if you stopped reaching out, the silence between you would simply stretch on forever. You are the only one holding the bridge together. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that our deepest suffering rarely comes from the natural changes of life, but from our resistance to those changes. We suffer because we demand that the present moment looks exactly like the past. We hold on to the memory of who a person was to us, and we try to force the current reality to match that beautiful memory. But human hearts are not fixed statues carved in stone. They are living, breathing, and constantly shifting. When we attach our inner peace to the expectation that a friend will always remain exactly as they were, we create our own sorrow. Imagine sitting on a quiet shore, watching a small boat tied to a wooden dock. For a long time, the knot is secure. The boat rests safely against the wood, but over time, the current pulls, the rope frays, and quietly, the knot comes undone. The boat does not violently crash away. It simply drifts. It moves with the water, slowly drifting further and further from the shore, pulled by invisible tides. You can stand on the dock and demand it to return, exhausting yourself by fighting the ocean, or you can quietly watch it go, understanding that the water has simply carried it somewhere else. This is what happens to many of our most cherished bonds. You did not necessarily do anything wrong. They did not necessarily do anything wrong. Sometimes, the current of life simply changes direction. We grow into different spaces, different silent struggles, and different seasons. But your mind, desperate for a clear reason, starts to blame you. You overthink. You replay old conversations. You ask yourself, was I not enough? Did I say something to push them away? Ask yourself this: are you mourning the person as they are today, or are you mourning the memory of how effortless the friendship used to be? Stop. Breathe. Observe the heavy feeling in your chest, but do not follow the thoughts of self-blame. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. You are not responsible for carrying the entire weight of a connection just because you are afraid of the quiet that comes when you let go. Because peace is not found in forcing the boat back to the dock. Peace is found in making space for the natural flow of the water. But accepting this quiet departure is only the first step. To truly release the heavy burden of trying to keep a friendship alive, we must look closely at why we fear endings in the first place. And this is where the next truth begins. Here is a truth few people want to face. We walk through life acting as though the people we love belong to us forever. When we form a deep bond with someone, we naturally build a house in our minds where that person is meant to live permanently. We assume the friend who understood our deepest fears a year ago will be the exact same person standing beside us 5 years from now. When the friendship begins to cool, when the texts become shorter, and the excuses become more frequent, we feel robbed. We feel as though something that was rightfully ours is being taken away. But Buddhist wisdom teaches a different truth. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is the reality of impermanence. Everything in this world is in a constant state of flux. The seasons change, the daylight fades, and human hearts expand, contract, and shift in ways we cannot predict. Suffering does not come from the fact that things change. Suffering comes from our desperate attempt to keep things exactly as they were. We treat a temporary, beautiful experience as if it were a permanent possession. Imagine looking up at a vast, open sky and seeing a perfectly shaped cloud drifting overhead. For a moment, it brings you peace just to look at it, but the wind is always moving. Soon, the cloud begins to stretch. It pulls apart, changes shape, and slowly drifts toward the horizon. If you stand there demanding the cloud return to its original shape, if you become angry at the wind for moving it, you destroy the peace of the sky. You cannot freeze a cloud, and you cannot freeze a human being. Yet, this is exactly what we try to do in our modern lives. We treat friendships as unchangeable contracts. When a friend's life takes a different path, perhaps they enter a new phase, face hidden struggles, or simply outgrow the spaces you used to share, we take it as a personal betrayal. We look at their social media, watching them live a life that no longer includes us, and we feel a deep, agonizing sting. We try to force the connection back to life. We send messages hoping for the warmth of the past, only to be met with the cold politeness of the present. Think about your own life. Think about the person who is slowly fading from your days. What are you still holding on to? Are you clinging to the reality of who they are right now, or are you clinging to a ghost? Are you trying to lock a door that has already blown open? Pause, breathe. Observe your desire for things to stay the same. You are allowed to miss the way things used to be, but you do not have to fight the wind. Let the memory remain beautiful, without demanding it become your future. Accepting that a friendship is changing form is a quiet act of courage. It requires you to respect their journey, even when it leads away from you. But letting go of an illusion of permanence is only one part of the struggle, because as the silence grows, an entirely new kind of pain begins to take root. You begin to realize how hard you have been working to keep the cloud from drifting, and this is where the next truth begins. 3. The weight of one-sided effort. What if the exhaustion you feel in this friendship is not actually from losing them? What if the heavy, sinking feeling in your chest comes from the relentless, lonely effort of trying to keep them? Here is a truth that is difficult to swallow. A connection is meant to be carried by two people, but right now, you are carrying it alone. You know exactly what this feels like. You are the one sending the first text. You are the one asking how their week was. You are the one trying to make plans, leaving the door open, waiting for a response that takes days to arrive. And when they finally do reply, the words feel empty. The warmth is gone. You are watering a garden where nothing is growing anymore. You feel invisible, wondering why your care is no longer matched. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that true love, including the deep love of friendship, must be given freely and without force. When we try to force another person to care, we are no longer practicing love. We are practicing attachment. We become so attached to the idea of the friendship that we turn it into emotional labor. We forget that a bond cannot be sustained by only one person's willpower. Suffering arises when we refuse to see the reality of the present moment, clinging to a connection that has already become one-sided. Imagine two people holding a long, heavy rope, standing on opposite sides of a bridge. As long as both hold firmly, the rope remains taut, a perfect balance of tension. But one day, the other person slowly opens their hands and lets the rope drop. They walk away. You, however, refuse to let go. You pull harder. You grip tighter. You try to hold up the entire weight of the heavy rope by yourself. The rope burns your hands. Your arms ache. You are exhausted. The pain you feel is not because the other person left. The pain comes from the friction of the rope sliding through your clenched fists and your stubborn refusal to open your hands. This is exactly what happens when you try to single-handedly sustain a fading relationship in your modern life. You pour all your energy into someone who is no longer reaching back. You check your phone, waiting for a message to validate your worth. You overthink every interaction, wondering if you should try just one more time. You convince yourself that if you just show them how much you care, they will realize what they are losing. But true connection does not require a desperate performance. It does not ask you to burn your own hands, to keep someone else warm. Think about your own life. Think about the energy you are pouring into empty spaces. Ask yourself, are you reaching out because it brings you joy? Or are you reaching out because you are terrified of the silence that will happen if you stop? What are you afraid will happen if you simply let go? Stop. Breathe. Stop trying to force the door open. You have done your part. You have offered your heart, your time, and your care. Now, release the outcome. You are allowed to stop trying. You are allowed to let the silence answer for them. There is a profound relief in finally setting down a weight you were never meant to carry alone. But the moment you stop pulling, your mind will naturally panic. It will demand a reason, an explanation, a final conversation to make it all make sense. Because beneath every quiet exit is a mind demanding an answer. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The ego's need for closure. What if the explanation you are so desperately searching for will never bring you the peace you desire? Here is a truth that is deeply uncomfortable. We are obsessed with endings that make sense. When a friendship fades into silence, without an argument or a definitive goodbye, the mind goes into overdrive. We want a final conversation. We want a reason. We replay months of memories, scanning for the exact moment the shift happened. Did I say something wrong? Did they misunderstand me? Are they angry or just busy? We convince ourselves that if we just knew why they left, we could finally let them go and move on. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that the mind is a restless seeker. It constantly demands answers, clinging to the illusion that understanding the past will protect us from the pain of the present. But true peace does not come from having all the answers. It comes from accepting the unknown. In Buddhist thought, the demand for closure is often just the ego's way of refusing to accept reality. The ego demands a neatly wrapped story. It wants everything to be fair, but the soul simply observes the truth. The connection has changed, and the silence is already speaking. Imagine reading a beautiful, deeply moving book. You turn the pages, entirely absorbed in the story, completely connected to the journey. But when you reach the end, you find that the final page has been torn out. The story simply stops in the middle of a sentence. You can spend the rest of your life frantically searching the world for that missing page, refusing to read another book until you find it. You can curse the book and let it ruin the memory of every beautiful chapter that came before. Or you can gently close the cover. You can feel the weight of the story you were lucky enough to experience and accept that it ended exactly where it did. In our daily lives, this frantic search for the missing page looks like staring at a glowing screen, hoping for a text that explains everything. It looks like analyzing their silence, trying to decode their distance as if it were a puzzle you could solve. We feel that their lack of explanation is a reflection of our own worth. We think, if I mattered enough, they would have told me why. But a fading connection is rarely about your inadequacy. It is often about their capacity, their shifting path, or simply the natural closing of a chapter. Think about your own life. Think about the energy you spend trying to solve the mystery of their absence. Ask yourself, are you truly looking for the truth? Or are you looking for an apology that will never arrive? Is chasing this phantom explanation bringing you peace, or is it feeding your exhaustion? Stop, breathe, Observe your mind's desperate hunger for a final word. Watch the thought rise, but do not let it pull you into the past. You do not need an explanation to give yourself permission to heal. Let the silence be the closure. Because peace is not found in a final, dramatic conversation. It is found in accepting the silence as the only answer you need. But walking away from the search for answers means confronting the memory of the person you thought you knew. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. Letting go of who they used to be. What if the person you are missing no longer exists? Here is a truth that breaks the heart before it heals it. When a friendship slowly dissolves into silence, we often believe we are grieving the person who is walking away. But most of the time, we are not weeping for the person they are today. We are weeping for a ghost. We are grieving the memory of who they were when the bond was effortless, when the laughter was easy, and when the care was mutual. When the distance grows, we look at the stranger they have become, and we try to overlay the familiar image of the friend we once loved. We replay old memories. We reread old messages. We look at the cold, brief responses they send now and compare them to the warmth they offered a year ago. We feel betrayed, not just by their departure, but by the fact that they have changed. We suffer because we expect today's version of them to honor yesterday's promises. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound truth of non-attachment to form. Nothing in this world retains its original shape. A human being is not a static object. They are an ever-flowing river of experiences, thoughts, and invisible shifts. When we cling to a past version of someone, we are clinging to an illusion. We suffer because our minds demand that the river flow backwards. We demand that a person remain frozen in the exact state they were when they brought us joy. Imagine walking up to a calm, still lake at midnight. You look down and see the reflection of the moon, bright and perfect on the surface of the dark water. It is so beautiful that you reach out to touch it, wanting to hold that light in your hands. But the moment your fingers break the surface, the image shatters, the water ripples, and the moon disappears. The reflection was only real for a specific moment in time. You cannot cup it in your hands, and you cannot force the water to be still enough to bring it back once the morning comes. In our modern lives, we reach into the water every single day. We scroll through old photos on our phones, staring at frozen moments in time, expecting that same warmth to exist in the present. We feel a deep, aching loneliness when we realize the person in the photograph is no longer the person ignoring our messages. We feel foolish for holding on, but they have simply moved into a new season, and the truth is, so have you. The friend who laughed with you in that memory is gone, but the person you were back then is gone too. You are both new. Think about your own life. Think about the beautiful memories you are using to punish yourself in the present. Ask yourself, are you trying to force a current stranger to act like an old friend? Are you letting the beauty of what was destroy the peace of what is? Stop, breathe. Gently release the image you have been holding in your mind. You can honor the person they used to be without expecting the person they are today to return to you. You do not have to erase the love you felt, but you must untie it from the present reality, because peace is not found in resurrecting the past. It is found in letting the past rest quietly. But letting go of who they were requires something even deeper. It requires a fundamental shift in how you hold on to love itself. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. The wisdom of the open hand. What if the tightest grip is the one that causes the most pain? Here is a truth that goes against everything we are taught about love and loyalty. We believe that to hold on tightly is to show how much we care. We are told that fighting for a relationship proves its worth. So, when a friendship starts to quietly fade, our immediate instinct is to panic and grip tighter. We double down on our effort. We text more often. We try to manufacture the old closeness, suffocating the natural space between us. We believe that if we just hold on with enough strength, we can prevent the connection from slipping away. But Buddhist wisdom offers a very different approach. It teaches the quiet, profound practice of non-attachment. This concept is often deeply misunderstood. Non-attachment does not mean that you become cold, distant, or indifferent. It does not mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop trying to possess. Attachment says, you must act a certain way, and you must stay with me, for me to be happy. Non-attachment says, I offer you my care, but you are completely free. In Buddhist thought, suffering is intrinsically linked to our desire to own what is inherently meant to move. A human heart cannot be locked in a room. Imagine holding a handful of fine, dry sand. As long as your hand is relaxed and open facing the sky, the sand rests peacefully in your palm. It stays exactly where it is. But the moment you become terrified of the wind blowing it away, your instinct is to protect it. You clench your fist. You squeeze as hard as you can. But the harder you squeeze, the faster the sand slips through the tiny spaces between your fingers. Your desperate attempt to keep it is exactly what causes it to spill. Eventually, your hand is empty. Your knuckles are white, and your muscles ache from the useless strain. In our modern lives, we do this exact same thing with fading friendships. We sense the distance growing, and instead of allowing it, we clench our fists. We send multiple messages, watching the silent screen with a heavy heart. We demand reassurance. We over-explain ourselves. We compromise our own boundaries, constantly making ourselves available just to prove our loyalty, hoping they will finally notice our effort. We turn our love into a cage. But genuine connection cannot survive in captivity. We forget that. The beauty of a true friendship is that it is a choice made freely, every single day. When the care becomes one-sided labor, gripping tighter only crushes whatever small amount of love is left. Think about your own life. Think about the connection you have been trying so desperately to control. Ask yourself, are you holding on because the relationship still brings you joy? Or are you holding on because you are terrified of an empty hand? Is your grip protecting the friendship, or is it only exhausting your spirit? Stop. Breathe. Gently open your metaphorical hands. You do not have to push them away, but you must stop trapping them. Let the sand sit freely. Let them choose to stay, or let them choose to drift away. Do your part. Offer your genuine kindness, and then release the outcome. Because peace is not found in forcing someone to stay against the current of their own life. It is found in trusting that a connection meant for you will not require you to bleed just to keep it. But opening your hand also means releasing the bitter resentment that builds when the silence finally sets in. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. Forgiving the unsaid goodbye. What if the silence they left you with is the only closure you will ever receive? Here is a truth that can feel incredibly unfair. When a connection fades away without a final word, it leaves a bitter taste. We feel robbed of dignity. We think to ourselves, after everything we shared, did I not at least deserve an explanation? Did I not deserve a proper goodbye? Because they did not give us a clean ending, we begin to harbor a quiet, heavy resentment. We feel slighted. We let the silence turn into a weapon, and we replay the injustice of it every time their name crosses our mind. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that holding on to resentment is like grasping a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You are the only one who gets burned. In Buddhist thought, forgiveness is not about excusing someone else's behavior. It is not about pretending that their silence did not hurt you. Forgiveness is a deeply personal act of liberation. It is the conscious decision to drop a heavy weight that is crushing your own spirit. When we refuse to forgive the unsaid goodbye, we remain chained to the person who walked away. Imagine standing in the middle of a beautiful, quiet room. Someone walks in, hands you a heavy, sharp stone, and then silently turns and walks out the door. You are confused. You are angry. You stand there holding this heavy stone, waiting for them to return and take it back. You wait days, months, maybe even years. Your arms are trembling, your muscles are screaming in pain, but you refuse to put the stone down because you feel they are the ones who must carry it. You believe that dropping it would let them get away with what they did, but they are already gone. You are the only one choosing to hold the heavy stone in a room that was meant for peace. In our daily lives, holding this stone looks like nursing a quiet bitterness. It looks like bringing up their name just to point out how poorly they treated you at the end. It looks like checking their social media, hoping to see them struggle, or waiting for the day they finally realize what they lost. We think our anger is a shield, protecting us from being hurt again. But it is not a shield. It is an anchor. It keeps you stuck in the exact moment of their departure, draining the energy you could be using to nurture the connections that actually want to grow. Think about your own life. Think about the anger you carry over a silent exit. Ask yourself, is holding on to this resentment punishing them, or is it only punishing you? What would happen if you simply set the heavy stone down? Stop. Breathe. Observe the bitterness in your chest. Acknowledge that the way they left hurt you, but do not let that hurt harden into a permanent wall around your heart. You do not need to receive a perfect apology to grant yourself peace. You can forgive the unsaid goodbye, because peace is not found in forcing someone to acknowledge your pain. It is found in deciding that you will no longer carry it. But releasing this anger leaves you with a quiet, empty space where they used to be. And this is where the final truth begins. 8. Honoring the space left behind. What if the empty space they left behind is not a void to be feared, but a clearing for something new? We began this journey by looking at the quiet, strange heartbreak of losing someone without a sound. You have felt the exhaustion of holding a heavy rope entirely on your own. You have felt the desperate hunger for an explanation, the grief for a person who no longer exists, and the burning strain of a tightened grip. You have spent so much time and energy trying to fill the silence, terrified of what it meant about your worth. But now, you must look at this silence differently. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that emptiness is not something to run from. Often, we believe an empty space means that something is broken, that something was stolen from us. But in Buddhist thought, space is the very foundation of freedom. A cup is only useful because of the empty space inside it. A room only has value because of the open space it provides. When we finally let go of our attachments, when we stop forcing the one-sided effort, and when we drop the heavy stone of resentment, we are left with space. And that space is sacred. Imagine a dense, ancient forest where a massive tree has quietly fallen to the ground. For years, its branches stretched wide, defining that part of the woods. When it falls, the forest suddenly feels empty. There is a gaping hole in the green canopy. But because that tree is no longer blocking the sky, warm sunlight finally reaches the dark forest floor. In that quiet, untouched soil, new seeds that have been waiting in the shadows can finally begin to sprout. The departure of the tree is not the death of the forest. It is simply the beginning of a new season. In your everyday life, the space left by this fading friendship feels like an aching absence. You look at your phone and see the lack of messages. You feel the gap in your daily routine where their presence used to be. But that gap is your sunlight. It is the emotional energy you finally get to reclaim. It is the deep, mutual care you no longer have to waste on a closed door. The love you were so desperately trying to pour into a fading bond is now yours to keep. You can pour it back into your own spirit, and you can offer it to those who are already standing beside you, holding the rope with an open, willing heart. Think about the quiet in your life right now. Ask yourself, Can you look at this empty space without rushing to fill it with anxiety? Can you trust that the silence is not a rejection, but a gentle redirection? Stop, breathe. Let the silence be a comfort, not a punishment. Honor the beautiful chapters you shared, but honor your own peace enough to close the book. You have carried this weight for long enough. Trust the current of your life, and trust that whatever is truly meant for you will never require you to beg for its attention. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.